Have you ever wondered, why can't I change? Why am I still so anxious? Why do I keep overthinking? Why isn't my faith helping me more? Those are questions I've heard from so many people over the years in my ministry and in counseling. And they're questions that I've asked myself too, a lot of the time. But what if we've been looking in the wrong direction? What if one of God's greatest gifts has been hiding in plain sight our whole lives, and it's the very thing we've been missing all along? And it explains so much about why we've struggled or suffered. And what if the very thing we've blamed for our suffering is actually one of God's greatest gifts that He's given to us to use? In this video, I want to introduce you to one of God's greatest gifts, something many of us have overlooked our entire lives, yet it's shaping the way we experience every moment of our lives. So hang in there with me and we'll discover what it is as we go along. And once we begin to understand it, we may discover why we've suffered so much or for so long, more than we needed to, and why there may never have been anything wrong with us in the first place. What if that was true? Wouldn't that be amazing? So first, let's do, just for a few moments, an exercise together. Pretend that I have a whiteboard here. And for the next few minutes, we're just going to list all the gifts of God that we've been given. Whether we realize it or not, all good gifts come from the Father of heavenly lights, right? That's a beautiful scripture passage that says that. I love it. So let's pretend I'm writing them. I'm writing them down right here on our imaginary whiteboard. So you got to use your imagination as we go through this, right? So let's go. What would we list? What would we put on there? For many of us, Jesus would be first on the list, right? Yes, of course, there He is at the top of the list. The Holy Spirit, the Bible. So many things that have to do with faith. We'll write them all on the whiteboard. But what about the gifts everyone enjoys, whether they know where they come from or not? Like the gifts in creation, the blue sky, a cool breeze, the ocean. Our senses. What about the gift of our senses? Our ability to taste, for taste buds, to taste ice cream, right? The gift of our bodies, for the sense of smell, right? To smell baking bread or flowers. What about touch? To be able to touch and the softness of a baby's cheek, right? Or hearing, to be able to hear beautiful music and melodies. And we put things like relationships, good friends, children, grandkids that have to do with relationships, right? Things we can't see also, but can feel, like love, joy, peace, all the fruits of the Spirit. And spiritual gifts too, we might list on there: hospitality, mercy, teaching, serving. And things like mountains and giraffes. I mean, who thought those up, right? A sunset, the taste of chai or coffee, laughter, so many things we'd put on that list. And it's kind of boring with just me doing it all alone here by myself. And it would be a lot more fun with you together in the same room if we were doing it together, writing them on there, right? And we'd name a lot more things, wouldn't we? I guarantee it. But I also almost guarantee that we could sit here for 3 more minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, even 3 months, and still might not list one of the greatest gifts God has given to us. that we are always using, that is always there, but that we're often unaware of. What might that be? Any guesses? What would we put? And you won't find this gift on any spiritual gift lists or inventories. Never seen it there. So what is it? Thought. The gift of thought. The gift of thought with a capital T. And by thought, I don't mean any particular thought. I mean the amazing God-given ability we all have to think at all, right? And with that gift of thought, we do a lot of thinking. It's one of the most amazing gifts we've been given. But we don't realize we have it, do we? Or how amazing it really is. And it's so powerful. In how we experience our lives, it's not just a factor, but the factor. But most of us have never been told about this amazing gift. And we're largely unaware of it. It's kind of like this. Use your imagination again with me. There were two fish that were swimming in the ocean. Swimming in the ocean one day, when they passed an older fish swimming the other way. And the older fish stopped and said, "Boys, how's the water?" And they swam on a little further, a little farther on, and then they stopped and they looked at each other and they said, "What the heck is water?" Just like those fish swimming in water, not knowing they're swimming in water, we're swimming in a sea of thought, but we just don't know that we are. And we look at life through our own thinking with that gift of thought. Now, let me give you a picture of how thought works. Let's think about this for a little bit. I want you to use your imagination again and think of a bubble machine. You've seen them at weddings, birthday parties, wherever it is, and you know how a bubble machine works. I mean, you're smart. You know that. You know how it works. You plug it in, you fill it with bubble juice, you turn on the power, and it just works, right? And as long as it's plugged in with bubble juice and turned on, it will keep on what? It'll keep on working. With all those working, it will never not make bubbles. And just as bubble machines make bubbles, we are thought machines that make thoughts. A bubble machine's job to make bubbles. Our mind's job to make thoughts. And it's a good sign. It's a good sign the bubble machine is making bubbles. It's working. And it's a good sign that our mind is making thoughts. It means we're plugged in. We're alive. We can think. Your mind is working just fine. We're not brain dead. We're in life. We're alive. And let's look at some characteristics of bubbles and thoughts also. Bubbles are constant and continual. And our thoughts are constant and continual, aren't they? They never shut off. 24/7, 365, awake, asleep, dreaming. Your mind is constantly producing thousands upon thousands of thoughts all day long, every day. Some of them we're aware of, many of them we're not, right? And another characteristics of bubbles and thoughts. Bubbles are temporary and transient. Our thoughts are also temporary and transient. Just like bubbles, thoughts come and go. Our thoughts, bubbles come and go, our thoughts come and go. We don't have to worry that someday the room will fill with bubbles and we won't be able to breathe or to see our way around the room. No, bubbles pop and they disappear, like those sound effects, by the way. And so do our thoughts. They pop, they disappear. If we let them, they go. And that's a big one right there. If we let them and stop holding on to them. And then another characteristic, bubbles are mysterious and unpredictable, so to speak. How that bubble machine makes them, I mean, who knows? It just does, right? Just as our thoughts are kind of mysterious and unpredictable also. But our minds are set up to make them, and it just does. Who knows where they come from? But we know they're coming, right? We just don't know which ones. We can't predict what we'll be thinking tomorrow at 10:38 a.m. We may have some idea, but we can't predict specifically. It's just like shuffle play on our music player. You don't know which song is next, but you know another one is coming. Yeah? So let's go back to where we started. Remember those questions we began with. Why can't I change? Why am I still so anxious? Why do I keep overthinking? Why isn't my faith helping me? Why isn't it working? What if the thought that there is something wrong with us isn't the explanation for our pain or struggles or suffering after all? What if so much of it, all of it maybe, has simply had to do with the innocent misuse of the gift of thought? Innocent. We don't even know we're doing it half the times. We don't even know we're doing it to ourselves through our thought and through our thinking, do we? And misuse. No one really told us we could use it well or we could misuse it. And gift. It's a gift we use to create heaven or hell in our lives, so to speak, in our minds, and misery or bliss in our minds and in our lives, right? Thought. The more we become aware of the gift, the more it can help us in our lives. And this whole understanding of this amazing gift and power God has given us can spill over into loving Him even more for how awesomely, wonderfully, and magnificently He created us to begin with. It's been my experience. It increases my love for God. And that was true for me. With my clinical depression back in the day, I thought there was just something terribly wrong with me. I thought it was in my DNA, my personality, that somehow it had to do with my problems and the pain in my life from out there. So I went through every kind of therapy, incredibly healing and beautiful. I loved it. I tried to figure it out. I worked on it. No one ever told me about this gift of thought and how I'm creating my depression through my thinking. So again, I worked hard. I tried hard to overcome it, to fix myself, rather than realizing something amazing, that I was creating my depression through the thoughts I was thinking. What was my depression? It was me thinking depressed thoughts. The secret wasn't changing my thoughts. It was realizing I was the thinker. Now that I know, I'm freer. And it wasn't that something was wrong with me. It was my innocent misuse of the gift of thought. You were made mentally well. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. and you don't need to be fixed when it comes to your mental health and mental well-being. And discovering that you have this incredible gift and how it works can help you live more and more from the well-being that's already there. You're just thinking a lot and you're believing it. You're believing it all to be true, or a lot of it, and you're holding on to it. And for many of us, we're simply unaware that we're doing that. But the more we see it, the more it helps us, and the more freedom we can experience. So here's what begins to change when you see this. Our problems, our pain, they don't come from out there. They come from within here, right? It's not what's happening to us in the outside world, though we often think it is, but what's happening within us through thought and the thoughts we're thinking about it all that becomes our experience. But almost nobody knows this. So many people don't know. Most people have no idea they're thought machines, or that their thinking has anything to do with their experience of life and in life. Thought is creating our experience of life, moment by moment, through our thinking. This is what Sydney Banks, the enlightened Scottish mystic, was pointing to when he said, "Thought is the missing link that everyone is looking for." Again, it's not a factor, it's the factor. Or as he put it another way, the most important thing to remember is it's not what you think. It's the fact that you think. Do you feel the truth of that one? And that's life-changing, because it's not understanding the content of our thinking that's most important. It's understanding the gift and power of thought itself that's most important. So here's the invitation for today. Remember that you have this incredible gift built in. Realize that you're the thinker. Again, that's why it's not necessarily about changing your thinking, managing your thinking, stopping your thinking. I mean, no one can do that to begin with. The bubble machine just keeps on working, right? It's not about trying to think positively either. It's about seeing that you're the thinker. You've thought there was something wrong with you. But what if there never was? What if you've simply been innocently misusing one of God's greatest gifts that you already have? So I hope you'll take something that's been helpful from this and leave the rest. And remember, whether you feel it or not, or whether it seems to be true, you're more than okay in every way. Thank you so much for watching and being here with me. I'm grateful. And I hope to see you in the next video.